Good afternoon, everyone. You east. Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that are east of us, I'm Steve Sawyer, the founder of the Developmental Trauma Training Institute, and here to do a brief little discussion and a precursor to some of the new trainings that I'm doing this year through the Developmental Trauma Training Institute. And I am a licensed clinical social worker and duly licensed substance abuse counselor, and been working in this line of work for now ranging 25 years. It's hard to say it out loud. And one of my biggest passions in work is looking at addiction through a different lens than often is proposed or shared out there. And going to introduce to you a couple of concepts in the next three Facebook Live discussions about the cut from the herd model of treatment. To introduce this topic, this conversation, tell you the story about where Cut from the Herd came from as a title. Being an active 12-step community member for now over 32 years, a long time ago, one of my friends in recovery shared a story that a lion never goes directly at the antelope when it wants to harm or capture its meal. The lion always works together with other lions to separate and break apart the herd first. Antelope as a group and as one are much faster than lions are. And so a lion will separate one of the antelope from the herd. And as it's separated from the herd, it now begins to wear down the antelope from its energy level to escape. And a pride of lions will work strategically as a team to tire out that antelope until it gives in and succumbs to the pride of lions. And so cut from the herd is a metaphor of what happens for a lot of people with addictions. I'm going to be sharing research in this model, and one of the studies I share about identifies how often 2/3 of addictions can be accounted for with high ACE scores, adverse childhood experiences. The thing we emphasize here at DTTI, that adverse childhood experiences and the stresses related to that are a contributing factor in 2/3 of all addictions. There are people that become addicted later in life through pain pills and some of these things we see in our current medical models of treatment for pain. But 2/3 of people, when you interviewed inside of the study that I highlight in this model, 2/3 of those people had high adverse childhood experience scores. So that being our emphasis at DTTI, to introduce to you a concept of a model, I still firmly believe in the power of the 12-step models and what they create for community and the step work of healing. There's also an undercurrent that you see commonly within the 12-step programs and in addiction as a whole with this adverse childhood experiences. So the cut from herd model emphasizes, yes, we have to build community, but we also have to deal with the underpinnings that are disturbing the nervous system when it comes to addictions. A good friend of mine, Gabor Mate, we were in a panel years ago together, and we were talking about the underlying nervous system disturbance of childhood trauma. And he cleverly introduced the concept, and it might not have come from him, but of disease. Disease is the concept that's in the 12-step programs of addiction, alcoholism, that it comes from disease, and breaking that word apart into dis-ease, an uneasy nervous system. When we look at and study childhood trauma, the research is very conclusive about the forms of dysregulation. There's 6 primary forms of dysregulation that reside inside of the nervous system that create this disease. That is an underpinning of discomfort, agitation inside of the nervous system that needs calming. And when we look at attachment-based science in human beings, I talk about it often on these Facebook Lives and just inside of my lectures, that the underpinnings of human development being an attachment to a caregiver or a parent to take care of our needs, when they provide that human care to us, it brings calming to the nervous system. When we grow up in adverse childhood experiences, this underlying 6 forms of dysregulation create this underpinning of dis-ease that sets the stage very early in life to gravitate towards addictions of all different kinds. I don't just emphasize just substance addictions in this model. I utilize a platform of 6 different forms of addictions development. And in that, this is the underpinnings of looking at how attachment dysregulation early in life with a caregiver or adverse childhood experiences contributes or sets the stage for now to need to soothe the nervous system in its own independent way. Many people that suffer from addictions, if you get to know them, have independent personalities, try to do things on their own, and that comes from a lot of times from the early experiences of adverse childhood experiences. So in that, that's a brief introduction to how this model begins to look at the foundation of disease inside of the nervous system, these 6 forms of dysregulation. It progresses into 3 different stages, and stage 1 is really understanding and taking a deep dive on how dysregulation in the nervous system contributes and then is treated in an unhealthy way through addictions, and how we can work on healing that along with creating our realms of support of community like 12-step programs do, or cultural healing circle, etc. And in that, we take a look at the research of attachment. We take a look at the research of how this ties directly to addiction. And this is all part of stage 1 of looking at addictions through an attachment and trauma stress lens. So that is a brief introduction to what to expect in the Cut from the Herd model of treatment. We're launching our first training. It's next month. It's actually the first weekend in October. It's a 2-day training series. It's available on Zoom. Please join us if you're interested. You can register in the links within DTTI and also at stevesawyerlcsw.net. Both of those websites have registration links, and you can read more about how I talk about addiction and some other introductory videos. There's a 3-minute introductory video on the Cut from the Herd model on the attachment end of it on my website, stevesawyerlcsw.net, in the addictions topic section. So please join us in looking at addictions through a more scientific but also trauma lens, and be able to support all of the current healing models that heal addiction, and look at the foundational disease in the nervous system, the dysregulation, and work on healing all attributes of addiction in a thorough way. Thanks for joining me today. Next week, I'll begin by talking about stage 2 in the Cut from the Herd model and introducing that. And then week 3, I'll be talking about reestablishing connection and expanding our opportunities of people in recovery or clients that we're working with that are seeking recovery. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. And please share widely so we can start to treat this addictions epidemic that we have in our country in a more thorough and lasting way.